Hey guys, welcome back to the 5th episode of the Vanity podcast. I'm returned with mini cuties, and by mini, I mean only 2.
Wow.
Amal, I'm
Hello.
going to actually introduce you this time.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Introduce yourself.
Hey, it's your boy Joel. Hasn't been here since the first episode, but glad to be here.
Yeah, we're back. Only 3 people this time, because the other nerds couldn't make it.
Yeah, probably working or some shit.
Yeah, making money. Imagine making
that
money.
epic dough.
Imagine making enough to live.
Yeah, fuck that. So we
No,
went
you
to start off with Amal.
Hello.
You know, how are your gotcha pulls this weekend?
Don't ask me questions. I'm not fair.
Did you pull anything good?
So the Christmas banner, as I think I mentioned last podcast episode, is out for FGO, and that's the main one I play. And the poll is my all-time waifu, Orishkigal. So of course my ass is gonna win for her as hard as I can.
Is that the red saber?
No, that's Nero. The Orishkigal is like this blonde, and she's got like maybe 2 pigtails, if you want to call them that, like twin tails coming down with it. And she has this massive lance, and she's called like the ruler of the underworld.
That sounds like Rin Tosaka.
It is Rin Tosaka, that's the thing. She possesses Rin Tosaka's body.
But the most important thing is that you didn't actually spend money on the game, though, did you?
You're wrong.
You did?
Yes.
Oh my god.
What's
Okay,
happening?
well then how much?
Here's the thing.
Oh god, don't
I
ask.
originally had saved throughout the year, or like not the year, but the last few months to get her. So I got 2 copies of her like that, and then I did get a 3rd copy of her through spending a little bit of money.
And how much is a little bit?
I'm not answering that question.
But why would you spend that much for a 3rd copy?
Huh? I didn't spend like a ton of time.
Oh, okay.
But I intend to spend a ton more if I don't get the last 2 copies of her. So
Why do you
I
need
spent
that?
maybe like $10, and then I managed to pull her through my single pulls, because there's the single pulls that you can do, and then there's 10 summons in
Gotcha.
like multis that you can do for her. And the reason is that because her actual, like, aside from me just wanting her because she's cutie, she also gets more powerful because her main kit is built into what's called her Noble Phantasm, which is like her ultimate.
Gotcha.
And that gets more powerful the more copies of the unit you have built into the original unit. So it can go up to Noble Phantasm level 5, and what that does for her is, I believe, it increases her, well, just Noble Phantasm performance in general.
Gotcha.
Because it buffs itself. So that's the reason why I did that. And there's 2 more copies of her I need to pull, so hopefully I don't end up in a like $5,000 single.
Yeah. Well, at least there's only $10.
Yeah.
So between you and I, are we the only people that got Kenny in a Fate?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get into it.
Don't say that. You don't have to get into it.
It's okay, so here's the thing. It's like this pseudo what's that one show called? Or not show, it's a movie. Like with the rabbit hole. Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, that one. It's like that. It's like you look down it and it goes, oh, I'm probably not too far down, and you stick your head and you accidentally fall in, and you're just falling forever.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, I like falling, so.
Okay.
I'll stick my head in a little bit.
I at least could describe where you could start, which is Fate 0.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you have 3 options.
Yeah.
And then it just, at that point, it's like you can go wherever from there.
Yeah.
There's so many.
But I'll say Fate 0 is excellent.
Yeah.
Fate 0, at first when I started it, it wasn't for me because it was super, it's one of those shows where its action scenes are really good, but it has more conspiracy planning than anything. Like people trying to outsmart each other.
Yeah, but the second season is when shit like hits the fan.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then after that, you have the other 3 branches, and Fate Heaven's Feel, I don't know why I said hate, is finally coming out in movie form, and I adore it.
I haven't seen it because I watched Blade Works, or Budget Works if you will,
Yeah.
when it came out, and then Stay Night I watched the original Studio Dean one.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
I liked it for back then.
I liked it just because of the ending. I liked the one with
It tugs my heartstrings.
they went on a date. They had a date episode.
Yes.
And they and Shiro won Saber a like stuffed like lion.
Yeah,
Was it a lion?
I
Yeah.
think so.
She really wanted it.
Huh.
It was adorable.
Yeah.
Speaking of like emotional movies, I recently watched A Silent Voice.
Mm-hmm.
What a good movie.
I haven't seen it, but I've been wanting to.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the few movies that people keep, like, in my family, keep going, hey, watch it. And I go,
So, I've had it recommended to me multiple times, and I was going to rent it on Amazon Prime, like, because I had rented, what was it? Your Name. I'd rented Your Name on Amazon Prime as well. And, but right as I was about to rent, A Silent Voice, I got a notification that it was added to Netflix.
oh, well, that's
lucky.
Yeah, and so I just watched it on Netflix, but it was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. It's like 2 hours and like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a great
Which
time.
normally, yeah, it is. And it was like, it fucked me up, man. It was really good. I always end up watching like long ass anime movies when it's already too late. So I finished the movie at around 5 o'clock in the morning.
See,
By that point, you were just like,
Yeah, I was
oh
like,
my God!
I remember watching Your Name in my second year of college, and it was like in the dark. It was like 7 p.m. and I remember just sitting there by myself watching it illegally, crying. And then
As the FBI barges in the room.
Yeah.
And then they show up to the ending where they're meeting on the train.
Yeah.
And the FBI agent's crying with you.
Like, fuck.
He doesn't know anything what's going on.
Yeah.
He just sees it and he goes, oh my God!
See, I went and saw it in theaters in English, but I will
Oh, really?
say the English, dubbing of it, bless Funimation's heart for, always trying their hardest.
Yeah.
But just the emotional deliverance and on the pure Japanese voicing is,
Yeah.
you can't compete with it.
Yeah.
There's so much
Dude,
emotion.
I feel like Japanese voice acting is always better than English voice acting.
Because it just sounds more
yeah,
badass.
and not only that, like Joel, you said, they managed to hit it when it counts.
Yeah.
I mean, but back to like emotional scenes too. In Fate Stay Night, not unlimited budget works. The other one, just regular Fate Stay Night.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen the animation for it. I watched the visual novel for it. Right, I read through it, and I was still crying from like just the music, the emotional impact of the scene that was going on. I'm sitting there going, dude, you're kidding.
Here's a segue into a topic I just thought of in the moment. From just talking about just this year alone, what is a scene in a movie or show that you saw that made you tear up when you weren't expecting it?
I honestly don't tear up that often when I watch anything.
Yeah, I don't either, which is why, like, okay, so there's only been, like, I think, like, 3 or 4 things that have made me, like, tear up now, which is, one was, and they're all anime. They're all anime.
Because you're an intellectual. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah, 'cause I'm an
A
intellectual,
man
yeah.
of culture, if you will.
One of them was Your Lie in April. One of them was Your Name. One of them was A Silent Voice. And then one was, I guess 5. One was,
So you're
1,
a
2,
liar now.
4.
was it, Rascal Does Not Dream Bunny Girl Senpai.
That's such a good
Oh.
show.
And then the movie
There's a
of
movie?
Rascal, yeah,
Oh, I haven't
which
seen
I
the movie
saw
yet.
in the theaters, and that shit fucking, like right there in the chest, man.
Dude, I tried so hard to finish your Your
Lie
Lie
in
in
April.
April was amazing. I finished that no problem.
Yeah.
But it was Bunny Girl Senpai. I tried to watch it, and then they kept describing events that were completely unrelated to actual scientific terms.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, no, you're pissing off my science brain. I can't watch this.
I could see that, but
See, for me, the first thought is the first episode of Mob Psycho season 2, when Mob is putting together these pages that this girl that he was talking to for like the episode and her friends who were a bunch of bitches came up and says, yeah, he's a nerd, and shredded it up, and Mob's like, you shouldn't tear up people's shit. And then the wind blew, and he used his psycho powers, and he's like, "Come back here."
Yeah.
And then you get the Studio Bone special of just like amazing animation, and with the music synced up perfectly. And I couldn't stop. I felt.
I need to watch Mob Psycho.
Yes, you do.
Mob Psycho for me is like a fever dream. I know I watched it, and if you describe events to me in the show, I will know that event. But I, for the life of me, cannot come up with the events on my own. And I also can't, like... I can't remember what season they were in. It's just like, I sit down, I watch it, and I go, did I actually watch the show? So, that.
So one thing that I'm really excited for, which is coming out in January, I think like the 12th. It's made by the people who made Your Name. It's Weathering with You.
Oh, A1 Pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already bought tickets for it.
Oh, good.
Epic.
Like it's already sold out too. But I'm very excited. I'm going to watch it with Dylan. Not the Dylan that has been on the podcast. Not the other Dylan.
I just can't wait for Heroes Rising to make its North America premiere because it started airing in Japan this past Friday.
Oh, really?
In the My Hero Academia movie.
Epic.
Yeah. Huge. If there's one thing to take away from the listeners about me, it is I love My Hero Academia. It is.
Dude, it is so good.
Like, I'm a manga fanboy now. Like, I own all the volumes in English that are available right now. And I'm current, and I have, like, an issue to read after this. This series has revitalized my love of fiction. And I shit you not. Like, you can ask anyone.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
I don't doubt it.
I do enjoy it a lot.
I want to read the manga, but my experience with manga and reading it is that, because I've read the Attack on Titan manga, so I've known all of the scenes from like the newer season with Kenny and all of them. And the scenes hit me hard, don't get me wrong. They were fantastically and beautifully animated. But I'm sitting there going, man, I can't like this because I already know what happens.
Yeah.
So I want to read the My Hero manga so badly, but I don't want my love for the My Hero stuff to fade because I already know what happens and I get that same feedback experience.
I will say I feel that. Like, for me, some of the shock value, especially this new season, where you have it's supposed to be one of the most intensive arcs that the anime's seen so far, and I know exactly how it ends and everything, and to me, the wow factor of just seeing it in motion is enough for me to not be bored, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. What was I gonna bring up though? Oh well, I'll just segue into a different topic then. So for me, this is more of a like writer story for me, where recently, because Joel knows this, I don't know if Zach you know it, but my goal ultimately is to be a game writer, so writing stories for games and whatnot. And I wanted to go to SMU Guildhall for that originally, but upon talking with one of my friend's co-workers, she was saying that SMU Guildhall might not necessarily be the place for game writing. So now my friend coming in clutch twice now, one for setting up a co-worker meeting for me and his co-worker, but now also he's gonna go talk to his boss and have me sit down and talk with him, and like because his boss is incredibly smart, along with all the people at his job. I mean, someone at his job wrote one of like a major programming languages for his work and whatnot. So I am super hyped to go over there and talk to them.
Hell yeah, dude.
So what was the place you said?
SMU Guildhall?
What is that? Because just for the people like myself that don't know.
Okay. So SMU Guildhall is it's a pretty like famous school in the gaming world. Like, people who know that if you graduate from SMU Guildhall with an MIT in whatever field you're pursuing, you can basically go anywhere in the industry and just flash your thing and the company will jump on you to try and get you. But thing is that I'm not into the programming aspect. And I mean, there's 4 different sections. There's art, there's programming, there's design, and there's one other I can't remember off the top of my head. But those 4, out of those 4, I do know that game writing falls under game design at the very most. So I wanted to go into game design, but so SMU Guildhall's pretty prestigious for that.
Yeah.
But I might not end up going over there, so we'll see how that works.
Honestly, props to you though for doing something for yourself. Honestly.
Yeah, because I'm trying real hard. I want to be a game writer so badly, so I never have to look at something like Star Wars Battlefront 2 ever again.
See, like, if you think about it, our man Amal could be the next Toby Fox.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Do it.
Do it,
Bet
coward.
you won't.
Prove
Come
me
back
wrong.
to me. Yeah, prove me wrong. I'm gonna be upset if you don't come back to me in a couple of years and I don't see a finished product.
We'll see. Hopefully I can get that done. At the very least, I expect me to go indie developer first and then go forward from there and try and get into one of the bigger businesses. If not, have my be in a indie business, that rises to a double or triple A standard.
I remember when we went to RTX, I went to the they have indie game developers there that were RTX, and one of them, his name is Sirio, and he was developing this game called Shoot One.
Oh, was that the that hockey
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
So
yeah.
we were talking about the art design because it looked like 80s Capcom stuff, and he had some stuff look like it was from Gurren Lagann, and it was kind of cool. And I was talking about it. It's like, well, where have you started? And he was talking about how he did work for some of the AA or AAA developers, but then he realized that after working on projects and having to be canned for whatever reason, it's like he just got tired of it. So he's like, all right, let's see how far I can go on my own.
Yeah.
And then
that's usually how it goes in the industry, because one of the worst things that double and AAA companies try to do, well, I mean, it's not the worst thing. It's best and the worst thing, because the thing is, if it's the best thing, your studio immediately gets a ton of recognition, and then by connection, you get a ton of recognition. The problem is the same aspect in them making money is that they will can anything that they don't think they can monetize.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
because then whenever some projects come out that they thought that they couldn't monetize, and then it does so well, then they push it too hard. Yeah, and then it's like the genre just dies.
I feel like that's exactly what's gonna happen with Jedi Fallen Order, because. Wait, is it Jedi Fallen? Yeah, it is. Okay.
The most recent one that came out?
Yeah, the most recent one. But there was a game before that where it was canned, but it sounded like a fantastic experience where you'd be... I don't know if it was you specifically play as the 4 squad members, or if it's like you have a team in multiplayer that takes members of your squad or whatever.
Like an XCOM style game?
Yeah. Well, no, not XCOM. But it's more like...
It's kind of like a co-op thing, though.
Yeah, like a co-op thing where you kind of just run around the different Jedi planets. Just the different planets in the Jedi universe.
It was supposed to be kind of like an open world, I think.
Yeah.
And it was... Yeah, no, it sounded really cool. And they were a couple of years into development, too.
And then it was canned because EA was like, we want to make a live service game, so we're going to yeet skeet that in the incinerator. And
which was so dumb. I don't understand why they do that stuff.
Here's our question in the same light about the video game industry. We've seen over the past 5 years games come out as a trend, half finished, if not half baked.
Yeah.
We have games like No Man's Sky. We have most recently we've seen Anthem, like games where they on launch were incomplete messes and people abandoned shit very quickly. But then you have at least 2 years later with No Man's Sky, the Project Next update.
Yeah.
It's like, and that people say revitalizes the game. Do you think, in a way, we should allow the self-correction to happen, or do you think we should buckle down more on stop releasing unfinished products?
Here's the deal with, because you have good examples like No Man's Sky where yes they do bounce back, but there are games like Anthem, like you also mentioned, that don't bounce back, and they never do, because the thing with No Man's Sky, and I think the biggest thing it had going for it, was that game was not a live service. It just had a multiplayer feature, if you will. So it was like you would occasionally run into 1 or 2 people while flying your ship around this massive universe that the game was constantly generating. But you have the self-correction process, but imagine if that self-correction process was instead built upon an already finished product, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So imagine if, because I bring it up to people who don't remember Destiny 1's lifespan, how that game started out it was a good game at first, and then people quickly realized it had no content, so then they would do content updates. It was 2 really small and bad updates, and then the Taken King. And then suddenly it was, people were saying, oh my gosh, this game's so fun, blah, 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 blah. And then anytime it comes up in personal discussion, I go, well, imagine if Destiny 1 had all the content it did with the Taken King already, and then built upon that. How much more of a fun game it would be.
And that's what they should have done with Destiny 2, but then they went the same way that they did with Destiny 1. Because when Destiny 2 launched, it had a decent amount of content, but it's still, you reach the end game easy.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
Is that just what loot shooters are nowadays?
I mean, I guess so.
The end game, they talk about this with MMOs, where people don't concern themselves too much with what it's like between level 1 to the cap. People want end-game content. That's where you get all the money from as a developer.
And I think the problem is that they don't actually like consider while developing the game, they don't consider the end game at all, because it was the same way with Warframe as well. Yeah. Like that was completely bare bones, and now it's like incredibly in depth. Yeah. And like I hear so many great things about that game, but I don't want to go back and put all the time like into it that it needs, because it needs a large sum of time to be able to get it done.
And then, but to more properly answer your self-correction process question, I think people should really put their foot down when it comes to it, because I personally hate playing half-finished games. When Anthem came out, I was one of the first people on board, because their convention trailers and whatnot that they had coming out at the time, I was super into it. I mean, I was one of the people who heard of Anthem back before it was confirmed it was in development. And I immediately fell in love with the game. So, of course, seeing all of these good trailers coming out, I'm sitting there going, yes, I can't wait to play it. I get in, and almost right out the gate I was disappointed with everything. So,
do you think more studios should consider doing open betas for their game, especially if one of the selling points is multiplayer?
I mean, yes, but it also, like, it depends, because a lot of companies now are just seeing a beta as a way to guarantee more pre-orders.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, like, you'll get, early beta access if you pre-order, and then the beta, like... First of all, one thing that I hate about a lot of the things that happen when a beta comes out now is that the game gets completely data mined.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they don't make their own beta version of the game and then release that. They're cutting off, they're like putting out the full game, but then blocking it off and restricting it to what they want the beta content to be, which then everybody can just data mine. And then the game is kind of ruined at that point.
Yeah. It's
like if it's story-wise, but...
Well, I mean, isn't that up to the people on the internet to look for that mined recent, like that, the mine data?
Well, it is partially, but let's say, for example, let's take Anthem for example, right? You're on YouTube or whatever, you're just going through, you're interested in Anthem, but you don't necessarily want to see too much of it, right? You click on a video with a clickbait title, and suddenly it's all in your face, and all that data is in your face. So, like, I understand both sides of it, where, yeah, it is on the person to go look it up, but at the same time, you could just unknowingly walk into it.
Yeah, that is just the age we live in, I guess.
Yeah.
With the self-correction thing, though, I think it's like it's different depending on on how the studio handled it. Because like with Anthem, if they if they release a game and there's like some game-breaking like bugs or whatever that like we see that's like locking off content or whatever, then like that's something different. Like if they messed up or whatever. But like with Anthem, it was... they promised this big game, like with that first trailer at E3. They were like, this is in-engine, like this is going to be a fantastic game. But what we found out later on was when they showed that trailer,
it was scripted.
That's all they had. They didn't have a game. Mm-hmm. They only had that trailer. Like they didn't even start on the game. And then we found out like through all the other like developers and like everything else with the interviews of everybody was that there was no coordination between the teams. Like there was no management. They weren't like making sure that people were getting the job done, and so nothing got done.
I mean, it's that, but also I'm pretty sure they just didn't have any team leaders. Like people kept walking out and no one wanted to make any final decisions, so people sat on the game for 5 years, which should have been 5 years of development time. And then finally it comes time to show off at E3 what it's all about, and they go, quick, just throw something together, script it in the game, make that area look as beautiful as you can, and we'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
See, the thing that have been noticing, never mind, I am a cock tease. I guess we can try transitioning away, but I'm going to give a shout out to a game I've been really into, Spellbreak.
Yes.
Sign up for the closed beta at playspellbreak.com.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. The closed beta ends on the 31st of December, and it will be relaunching in, I think, spring of 2020 for closed beta 2. Sign up at their website for a beta key. You'll get it within 2 weeks, or your money back. This is not sponsored.
It's a pretty good game. But yeah, to transition away from the whole gaming things, how was your guys' weekend? What did you guys do?
It was pretty okay. I don't think I did too many things that were interesting, but Yeah.
I spent most of it driving around. I have a close friend who's back in town from his PhD program in California, so I've been trying to spend more time with him. I went to a white elephant party last night with my girlfriend's parents, and they're like her parents live in a cul-de-sac, and they're very much friendly people. So the cul-de-sac themselves throws like seasonal parties. One of them being a white elephant. So it was my first time going. Very suburban white people shit. I don't know what you want from me. It wasn't a bad time though. I was delightfully surprised how much I was enjoying myself. Which
nice.
Yeah.
I didn't do too much either. Friday I kind of just stayed home and after work and then just played games. And then yesterday after I got off work, I ended up meeting up with some people and we just hung out at one of their while they were working, and we got some free Starbucks drinks.
Dude, fuck yeah.
And then it ended up being around like 10 o'clock, and we decided, let's get some grilling. Let's grill, boys. So we came back here to my house.
And grilled.
And I got some drinks, and then they got all the meat, and we came back here, and one of them was like a really good, like he grills all the time. Yeah. So we just went outside. We got some jackets, had some music blaring, and we grilled, boys. We made like I think like 12 burgers. It was really good. They were really nice.
Dude, epic.
Yeah, big epic.
I've been craving a good burger for a long time.
Don't crave it, just go get it.
No.
Come to the cookout, my guy.
Where's the invite?
At 12 at night.
You not get the invite?
Yeah, no, Zach didn't invite me. How dare you?
But you know, after we ate some meaty burgers, we played Jackbox for a couple hours.
Epic, dude. I love Jackbox because it's one of those games I don't try to win in. I just try to have as much fun as I can with it.
I love the fact that it's just an adult Kahoot.
Yeah,
like that's really all it is.
Yeah,
that's more so Quiplash, I guess.
Yeah.
One of my at one point we were at Sam's shindig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was super late at night. I'm talking like close to midnight, I think, because I think she had work in the morning, so we didn't stay too late. But we were playing that split the room game, right?
I don't think I know what that one is.
Split the room. So basically, your objective is, as it says, like get people's opinion as divided as you physically can.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what I would do though, because my goal isn't to win. My goal is to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So it was like I don't remember what it was, but basically I ended up putting have James as a roommate or something like that, where it's like this glass screen. You can see everything they do on the other side of that glass screen. So I think I put something like James is just full naked except in a thong. And then there was another option. I don't remember what it was. And of course everyone migrates to the other option while laughing, going, "What are you doing? This isn't the goal."
Amazing.
So I'm like, well, either I expose someone or I get a good laugh, and I win either way.
So earlier today, me and Joel went to Cane's.
Epic.
And
you can't prove that.
I will show you the receipts. I will put pictures on screen.
Visualoid.
And so, actually, I do have the receipts, so I do have proof.
Worry.
But on our way there, we were trying to talk, and we were like, these are some good topics for the podcast. So we didn't talk at all.
We just sat there staring.
We just sat there staring while eating chicken. No, but we ended up talking about like really good animated TV shows. Mm-hmm. And I brought up Star versus the Forces of Evil. Have you seen that?
I don't know what that is.
Really? Okay, so it's is it just like a Disney or is it?
It was on Disney
XD.
Whatever their Disney animated channel is.
I think that might be XD.
Disney something.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Whatever.
I watched it on. I think I watched on Hulu at the time because I think it was on there. But I'd mentioned that it's one of my like. Yes, it's still like a kid's show, but it's one of the like last kids shows that I've seen that the fight scenes are like actual fight scenes and not like dumbed down to be like, oh, no one's getting hurt.
Yeah. Like
there's literally a scene where someone gets disintegrated. So yeah, I miss those kind of shows like Teen Titans and
the OG Teen Titans was my shit.
Yeah, it's so good.
I It was that one episode where it had Tara like running toward the light or whatever it was, and then it ended, and then they discontinued the show, and I'm sitting there as a kid not knowing what discontinued means or that it was discontinued. So I'm sitting there going, "When's the next episode coming out?"
What's so sad is that they really pushed us to thinking that they were going to bring us another season, and then it ended up just being a crossover movie with Teen Titans Go, where it was Teen Titans with the Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart.
I heard that movie was actually still really good though.
Yeah, no, I heard it was really good.
Haven't seen it, though.
To give it a
Still
shot.
broke my heart though, because I would rather have a whole season of the show rather than just like a hour movie with still the crappy Teen Titans Go comedy.
Will be an interesting small game to play. For the viewers, there is an age disparity here. Not a huge one, but between the three of us, I am the oldest. I want to start listing some shows, and you'll tell me yes, I know, yes or no, I've heard of it or seen it.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Sure.
All right. Code Lyoko.
No.
Oh my god.
Off to a great start.
Chowder.
I have seen Chowder.
All right.
That show's like fucking scary.
It's made by, I think, the same person. One of the writers for Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy made Chowder.
Oh, right.
Which is why it's like, what is it? It's like a similar. I learned this recently because I watched a video about it where those gross face shots from like
close-ups,
SpongeBob. Yeah, like that. Though that came from one of the writers that worked on Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which transitioned to Chowder and everything.
Yeah. Well, I will say right now for your game, I'm at a massive disadvantage because I don't watch TV very normally, and also I have stupid, like, not memory loss, but I have a hard time remembering names in general.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, just a heads up.
That's fair. The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack.
Yes.
All right.
I didn't watch it like a lot, but I have seen it before. I remember one episode where they were like stuck in a whale.
That's a lot, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
That whale's name is Bubby. She's like the mom to Flapjack.
Oh.
Because I think Flapjack's an orphan in the show, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Dude, who isn't an orphan in any anime? There's so many orphans constantly.
Next one is probably one of my favorite ones. Foster Son from Imaginary Friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah.
I do remember that.
I'd be very sad. I'd walk out. I'd literally walk out of this podcast.
Like, all right, peace out. I'm better head out.
Uncultured swine. Here's an even easier one. Avatar: Last Airbender.
Okay, I haven't watched the full show.
I'm
getting on it. Shut the fuck up.
I have it on Blu-ray. I'm blowing the mic out.
I seen the whole thing.
Listen.
Blowing the mic out. I'm sorry.
So here's the thing. I
hate yourself.
hate myself for the fact that I haven't watched all of it. But let me tell you, I have been getting on it, and I have been watching it, and I finished the first book.
Okay.
But then the thing that I was watching it on, which was Showbox, got shut down.
Oof.
So I have no way
borrow
of
the Blu-rays
watching.
from me.
Okay.
One of my friends.
Or Kenny, because he also has them.
One of my friends. This is the same friend that is introduced me to his boss. I'll give him a name. I'll call him Jack, just in case he doesn't want to mention on the podcast. But Jack is. I'm gonna end up saying his real name. Jack. He's a super animated freak. Like, if something isn't animated to perfection, he won't watch it. So I recently told him, like, hey, have you... Because this was back when Avatar memes were still spiraling around, making the rounds around the network and whatnot. And I was telling him, hey, have you watched Avatar: Last Airbender? He said, I tried to watch it, dude, and it's just poorly animated. I won't watch it. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you,
It's not
dude?
even poorly animated.
It's not like Ruby.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
That's...
Ruby Volume 1 through 3, okay?
Yeah.
Once you get to Volume 4, it gets okay.
Which is funny because, that's how I got Jack hooked on anime, actually. I showed him Ruby.
Oh, really?
And I showed him the food fight scene from the first thing.
What a good scene, dude.
He was literally screaming in the car the entire time, because this was back in high school. So he's got his little phone on the dash, and he has it hooked up to his speaker or whatever. And just the sound effects alone, because he had what are they called? Like, not boom boxes, but...
Subs?
Yeah, subs in his car. He had a subwoofer in there. Mm-hmm. And it was like top of the line stuff in his car. You could literally see his window shaking from some of those impacts, dude. I was sitting there going, dude, are you sure we're not about to shatter like all of your windows?
Dude, that scene is so good. I really want, once they like finish the show, I really want them to go through and like reanimate the first couple volumes to be matched up with you know, like how it is now.
Yeah.
But if they don't do that, I would like to see if they like reanimated the first episode, but in a 2D style.
Yeah.
I've boycotted Ruby until they bring back No Matter Nowhere. Put my foot
okay,
down.
yeah, I never watched that.
You motherfucker. It's okay. I like it a lot. Like
I've heard that, but I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, you've heard of it because you heard it all the time when I was playing the Ruby Chibi episodes the
Oh!
other day. It was like no matter nowhere.
Genlock's pretty good though.
Jinlock is very good.
The only other show I've seen of Rooster Teeth is Red vs. Blue.
That's also a great show.
I have only watched the first couple seasons of that.
Dude,
that show is so quotable.
How far?
I did not reach when they actually started animating it.
Like
they were still doing the.
Isn't that like
stuff.
6 or 7?
Yeah, like 6 and 7 is when they like are full on animated versions of Halo, and I'm sitting there like, coming in my chair as these scenes are going on. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Good old Monty.
But yeah, no, I loved Jinlock, and I'm very glad that it was announced for a season 2.
Epic.
Yeah, except I think season 2 is actually going to be. They're airing season 1 on Adult Swim.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, this is a big. Ever since they got acquired by Fullscreen in 2014, there's just been. It's like the power creep is happening so hard.
No.
Like, did you guys hear about the HBO Max announcement that happened like a few months ago?
I don't think so.
So HBO, as I'm pretty sure you guys all know, is a huge like paid subscription service for like quality content. You know, you have Westworld, Game of Thrones, Pretty Little Liars, I think is on that one, but whatever. HBO Max and Warner Brothers, who owns Fullscreen, which owns Rooster Teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Are all partnered together. You have all the Warner Brothers properties. You have HBO. You have Rooster Teeth. You have Crunchyroll, TBS. They're all partnered under one sub for like I think $15 a month. Oh. And it's probably the only thing that can rival Disney Plus, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
the only thing I hope is that they don't get charged for like oligopoly, or what is it? Is that what it's called?
Oligopoly.
Yeah, being like an oligopoly where like they try and steal some of the market and keep it to themselves and keep it at whatever price rate they want. Because if they do, that's legal trouble.
Well, isn't that the whole thing with like Disney now? Because
people are worried that that's going to happen with Disney because they're starting to buy up a bunch of stuff, and the government had to step in and go, you can't buy anything.
Yeah, but like they're not stepping in with consoles.
Yeah, which is
like,
weird.
Yeah, that's the definition of an oligopoly.
Yeah,
like it's only PlayStation and Xbox.
PlayStation, Xbox.
Stadia tried, but that's not.
Dude, Stadia, that wasn't even an attempt.
Yeah.
That was
and the Switch.
Yeah. The Switch.
Nintendo's like third party to the max. No one can mess with them.
Yeah. Like it's one of those things where sure the Switch can't or Nintendo can't necessarily rival them in terms of being a pure console, but if you try and touch portable gaming, Nintendo will swat you out of the water.
To the moon.
It's like, okay, so there was this one console that it looked really interesting to me. I cannot remember the name of it, but they were
Steambox.
No, but did you see the new Atari that they were coming out with?
Is it a like anniversary edition Atari? Or
no, it's like a full-on new Atari that was supposed to compete with the Xbox One.
No.
The design of it is beautiful. It looks amazing. I don't know if it actually released yet, but anyway, back to the original console I was talking about. I can't remember the name of it, but they were marketing it like hardcore. Like they were coming out with these big statements like, "Oh, we're gonna compete with Xbox. We're gonna compete with PlayStation." Blah blah blah. Which like yes. The specs that they showed off, it could 100% compete with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, but not with the new Xbox and PS5.
Oh,
like
if they had released it during the generation,
but it's not out yet, and so once it actually releases, it's probably going to be competing with the new consoles, it's just not going to be relevant.
It'd be competing with them anyway. There's too big of a gap in the generation. To try and upgrade it. So yeah, that's gonna get a rip from me.
Yeah, that's just you have to plan out your marketing. You know what I mean?
It sucks though. I feel that like dumping in so much money for a project and then realizing that it's not gonna be coming to even remote fruition on that.
See, what's interesting to think about because I while you guys were talking about the topic, I was thinking, well, handhelds. We only had Sony and Nintendo contributing that because Microsoft chose not to.
Yeah.
I feel like at all. Because I know also they have Windows and they are doing stuff on the PC stuff, getting that ready, or at least dealing with that. Then you had Sony and Nintendo, just like you had, everyone knows Nintendo's handheld history.
Yeah.
And then you had the little PSPs. The PSP, and then what? The Vita, and that's
yeah,
it.
PS Vita, which the PS Vita was falsely marketed.
Yeah.
And you could get money back from that.
Wait, it was falsely marketed? What do
Yeah,
you mean?
because they marketed it like it was supposed to be the Switch, but it didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Oh.
And so if you actually like went and you
Bought it under that assumption.
yeah, but if you bought it within like a certain time and then you sent in a request, they would give you $100 back.
Oh.
Yeah, like if you owned a PS Vita and showed proof of it, they would pay you.
What if I went to a garage sale and bought a Vita?
Yeah.
Profit.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to keep it.
Yeah.
It's not like you sent it in. They just paid you back for falsely marketing it.
Wow.
Yeah, because they had to.
Yeah.
They were forced
obviously,
to.
it's the law.
Okay, here's a question. We'll go around the room and everyone will just say their favorite video game device they've ever owned.
Device. I guess that includes consoles as well, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, like consoles, handhelds.
I think I'm actually gonna say the original Nintendo DS, because that's back when I was in high school with it, and it had that little port for the Game Boy Color, or not Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games, and then the DS port as well. And that was my Pokemon device basically, where I have, Emerald version and all the Game Boy Advanced ones, and then also Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, all those games on it. And I was super casual at the time, but that was probably my favorite, because then there was also Mario Kart and all those other party games that you played in high school.
I think mine is going to be the 360. Due to the fact that that's the console that really threw me into the gaming world, and I have so many good memories on that. And I had the PS3 also at the time, but I did not have any friends that had the PlayStation, so I pretty much didn't touch it really. So I only touched the 360. But there's so many memories that I have on the 360 that I think that wins by default.
I feel it.
For me, it is the PlayStation 3. I have spent many sleepless nights just being on PSN with like my friends and playing Little Big Planet 2 and Burnout Paradise. And just especially when PlayStation Network went down for 2.5 months, and Sony was like, "Here, have these games for free." So I got to play Infamous, and that is,
dude, Infamous is such a good game.
I know. And now they're making Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch Studios, and I'm so here for it.
Oh wait, they're the ones who are making it?
Yeah, Sucker Punch.
Dude,
because they haven't made anything since Second Son, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh damn! I didn't know that they were making that.
Yeah.
Oh well, that makes me even more excited.
Dude, I'm so excited. On one hand, I'm kind of sad that console exclusives exist, but for me, it doesn't matter because I have them all anyways. So I'm hyped for whoever throws out. The only thing is if it's in fact, on one hand, I know console exclusives are good for business, but anti-consumer, because that means people on other platforms can't play it necessarily. But I also kind of like console exclusives, because me owning all of the consoles means that I don't have to worry about buying a game 3 different times, because that actually happened to me at one point. I forgot what game it was. I have to go back and look at some point, but I bought a game on my PC and I was like, cool, I have this on PC now. And then I play with my PC friends, and then my PS4 friends would be like, hey, you should get this on the PS4.
Yeah.
And I go, all right. And then I get on the PS4.
Is it Overwatch?
No, not Overwatch.
That sounds like something I've heard people doing that.
I think it might have been Code Vein.
I did it with Overwatch. I did it with Black Ops 3. I did it with Destiny 1.
Oh boy.
And I did it with, let's see, what else was it? There's another game that I did it on. Black Ops 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude.
Which, it sucks so much, especially when it's a game that doesn't have cross, profile.
Cross saves?
Yes, cross save.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you have to play the game 3 times as long just to be equal across all. And it's brutal.
That happened.
I hate it.
That happened with me in Code Vein, because I had to sit there and I'm like, well, I can't have the same character as my last one. So then I sit in the character creation screen for X amount of hours. I could probably say about 2 hours total of my playtime in Code Vein was me just sitting in a character creation screen.
But that's what's up. I like doing that also.
Yeah. And then after that, I mean, I have gotten so good at that game because aside from just having to, use a controller, both PlayStation and my PC, I use the PS4 controller. So I'm sitting there just dominating the end game of my PlayStation, because I beat Code Vein by myself first on PC. Then I replayed it with a friend on PC. Then I went back and played it on my PS4. So at this point, I'm playing with one of my friends who has the game, and we're still playing through it. But I'm sitting there, an enemy comes up to me. He can't parry it properly or do anything. I just go, step aside. And so he gets behind me and he starts healing up. And the enemy attacks me. I parry it, kill it, or do damage. It gets knocked on the ground, comes up, and tries to attack me again. I parry it, kill it. My friend's like, what?
We have a god among men here.
Why could we not get a character creation screen in our own lives while we were in the womb?
That's what I'm
Please.
saying, bro.
Maybe we did. And you're just like, man, let me get the deep.
Yeah,
hit the random.
I tripped and fell on the random.
I just said, hey guys, watch me create the ugliest character.
Me and Ark.
Oh my god.
Dude, Ark is such a bad character creation scheme, but I love it. It's great.
So bad. What I really need to try is trying to play Ark on the xCloud, because that game's optimization is so fucking shit. Like, it's so bad. I need to know how it runs on the xCloud.
Your laptop still managed to explode.
Let's play off my phone.
Yeah.
At that point, so I don't know what the fuck.
Have you guys played Spore?
Oh my god.
Dude, Spore is so fun.
Spore is one of like the gems of EA's like history.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the first game I named my character Dick when I was a kid. So he'd be like, "Hey, Dick," and I'd be like,
I'm so funny.
Yeah. Dude, I used to love Spore.
I made
and
amalgamations that I can't even talk about.
Yeah, it's like, this is the peak of evolution. And now you're in space colonization, you're like, how the fuck did this guy survive so long?
Okay, so one thing that Spyro. That was hands down my favorite, like...
Dragon?
Spyro the Dragon.
Okay.
My favorite series as a kid, like...
Huh?
Coming to Smash.
I hope so, dude. I'll
absolutely obsessed with that series. And what I hate is when, like, good series like that are, like, they get a movie planned, and it's, like, it's planned for so long, and then it just never comes out.
We're talking about Ratchet and Clank.
Okay, Ratchet and Clank. Spyro also had a movie that was planned, and then it was canceled. And Sly Cooper... also had a movie that was planned, but then it ended up. I think it's becoming a TV show.
Spyro?
Or no, it's Sly Cooper. Or there is a movie coming out. There's something that's like a show or movie that is finally coming out for Sly Cooper.
Dude, Sly Cooper is my jam. That was the game I sat up on nights over and over playing on PS2.
Dude, trying to finish those races.
Yeah, no.
And those like race mini quests.
Again, to me, playing Sly Cooper is like a fever dream. Like, if you describe it to me, I'll know it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I can't put my finger on it. But there's one specific scene that sits out in my head, and it was probably my favorite scene as a kid, is when you're in that drinking contest in that bar, and you play as the turtle, and he just starts spilling his drink on his face while you're chugging.
Which one was this? Do you remember?
I think it was like the last game, is what it was. I think.
Huh.
But he spills the drink all over his face and then all over the floor. And then they go, "What? You can't do that. You cheated." "Get it, boys." And it's like we're just mobs the floor with everyone.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to ask, what is your favorite game to come out that you just have the most game time in? Like, let's say it's not a entirely like multiple, like not a Destiny type game where like the point is to put hours in game. Not
single player necessarily, but like not a game that requires you to rack up time in order to be good in.
Yeah.
Persona 5.
Smite.
That does count, yeah, I guess.
Persona 5, I have over 800 hours in. I have like 853 hours or something like that. Last time I checked.
And Smite, I have over like 1,000 something hours.
Oh my god, dude!
But that's also how much money I've spent on the game probably too.
Every $1 a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. Single player wise, I think it's tied between either Batman: Arkham Knight and Child of Light.
Child of Light's a good game.
Child of Light is so
to
good.
play Child of Light, but I've never gotten around to it.
Please play Child of Light.
I
know you have so many backlogs.
I have a backlog
plus
of like 50 games.
I know you're not going to get around to it before Cyberpunk comes out, and then after Cyberpunk comes out, like that's going to be the only game.
Like here's the thing: we're moving in soon. So,
yeah.
like, I'll be around, and then Cyberpunk will release. I'm gonna close, lock my door, bar it up, put, like, yellow tape everywhere. You won't see me for a year.
I was thinking about it, because we had talked about this before on one of the other episodes of the podcast about Cyberpunk. But I was thinking, what if Kenny's gonna play it too,
He better. I'll kill him.
He says he will play it.
Okay,
I will
so
kill him.
what I was
It's in his
thinking was,
backlog.
what if, right, we go into one of the rooms, we just bring all our shit up, and have our own monitors, and we just play next to each other, just
Like
to
a LAN
see
party?
each other's story path.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because
Okay.
you know how, like, you know, you can do each mission, like, completely differently.
Yeah.
So just to see, like, you know, where our stories actually, like, change and, like,
Dude,
do whatever. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
But
I feel bad for some of the devs over there though. Like they get ragged on for the dumbest shit.
yeah, like the clan thing about how one of them was called the Animals.
Oh yeah, that and then also there was a controversy somehow about the developers taking like because you know how sliders work, like you can slide it to one direction to get a certain effect or whatever. Well, they went, we just decided to unlock the slider, so have at it. So basically, they took away the male and female aspect of the character.
Oh, yeah.
So people were pissed that they couldn't make an all-male character, even though you can still make an all-male character just by sliding the stuff over to the male gender. And it's like, guys, I don't know why you're upset. You can have the dumbest looking character probably ever created in video game existence because they let you do it. Why are you pissed?
What was weird about that was the reason why they took away, like, just having a, like, one option, like, male or female, and then, like, you can just do, like, whatever, like, make them look whatever they want, was to please the people who would get pissed off about the fact that it's only just male and female.
And then people
got pissed off that it wasn't just male and female.
And it's
you
like,
can't win.
I'm sitting there like, these poor developers are just trying their best to make everyone happy.
Well, it was also, I don't know, I feel like they put a target on themselves with that one tweet.
Which one?
The one that people found as transphobic.
Oh,
because
okay.
they said, did you just assume someone's gender?
Literally,
But,
no, that was the dumbest thing too.
No, I agree. People over-exaggerated about the tweet, I believe. But I think, like, due to that tweet, people are targeting it like Joker.
They're trying,
like the movie.
real
like,
hard.
they're just trying to bring it down, you know what I mean?
And then there was also the trans lady poster one where she had a big package.
Oh.
And people got pissed about that, going, "You're just trying to please the lefties." Like, why do your political views have to do anything about a video game?
Just let the game be the game, please. Like, but no, I think the game's gonna be really good.
Yeah,
especially if they're actually able to pull off the thing where they don't want any loading screens.
Dude,
Like, that's gonna be so pog.
I'm psyched because this is probably going to be the last chance I ever give a game for pre-orders. After this, I'm probably just not going to pre-order anymore.
This is also going to
really
be
hoping.
the one of the last games that I have not pre-ordered a game physically in a long time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely pre-ordering this game physically.
Yeah, because have you seen all the bonuses that you get for pre-ordering it physically?
No.
So the company, what is it, CD Projekt Red, they want to up the standard of what you get in the $60 game.
They also did this with The Witcher 3.
Yeah, so if you pre-order the physical version, like at GameStop, wherever, just the basic standard $60 version, you get the game, you get a map, like a physical map of the game, you get the soundtrack, you get badges, and you get, like, something else. I can't remember what it is.
Was it like the steel case, or was that part of the other one?
If you get the steel case on the standard, like, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But, and then, like, you get even more stuff on the, like, $80 version or whatever. But the fact that they're putting that much in the $60 one, like...
Yeah, it's like, just...
Dude.
I think it was $200 for the next level of pre-order. And that it's only one or
like
two.
The bike model.
Yeah, so here's the thing. What they did with The Witcher 3 was they made, like, a statue. Like, a full-on figurine. It was pretty big. And then they threw in a bunch of physical owned items. And the only difference between the $200 version and the $60 version back then was just a few items, right? Like the figurine statue. The $60 version and the $200 version here are the same thing, where it's $200 like for the hardcore fans, $60 if you just want the game normally. The only thing that people were slightly upset about was the fact that if you pre-ordered it on the PC, I don't think you get the physical items.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. But other than that, still, I'm sitting there going, like, man, why is CDPR, like, one of
Amazing.
the... Yeah, like, just angels.
Yeah.
The last game this is the only game I ever pre-ordered was Spider-Man for the PS4, because I coincidentally also bought the PS4 edition of it.
Yeah, I saw that you had that. Did that come with any, like...
Yeah, so I did it through GameStop, and it was double dipping, unfortunately, where I was getting the PS4 theme, some icon, some skins. There's like the Velocity skin and the Infinity Wars Iron Spider.
Yeah.
And some other one. I think it was a Spider-Punk. But since I got the PS4 Spider-Man edition one, I already got that stuff. Yeah. So I just gave the codes to a friend.
Oh, gotcha.
Epic.
But I also got the City That Never Sleeps DLC pack as a part of it.
I actually never played the DLC on that.
But the DLC is well worth the money.
I watched all the cutscenes for it.
How dare you?
Yeah, it's because I knew that I wasn't going to pay for it, so I wanted to experience it. But I wish it came with a statue. Because what I was going to say, speaking of the statues, was that once you move in, and we're getting, like, we have so many things. We have so many pop figures and everything that we're going to do. And, like, so for those, obviously, you've never seen my house. When you walk in and you look to the left, there used to be over 1,000 DVDs that we had on these shelves. But my dad is moving out, and so he took all the DVDs out of the house, and so we just have all these empty shelves that we can easily put all of our pop figures on.
Dude, I'm about to head back over to Japan real quick and put all the stuff I didn't have room for in my room.
And so also with I don't know if we told you our plan, but there's like little shelves in the hall bathroom. I showed Joel earlier, and there's like little like statues that are there. But we're gonna take those off, and we're gonna put just lewd big titty anime bitches out there in the bathroom, so that way when you go in, you have a nice little little surprise.
That'd be hilarious.
I think it'd be really funny. I think we should just put lewd statues all over the house.
Lewd stuff over there, and then someone will come in and go, "Oh, where's your bathroom?" We point them to the lewd bathroom.
Yeah.
And we just they go in, and we go, "All right."
And then we put a timer on, and we see how long.
Ask.
And we'll see if they say anything when they come out.
Yeah, but like with all of us having so many collectibles,
dude, it's
crazy. It's gonna look. I want this house to look.
We're gonna raise this house property value by $8,000 for the average weeb.
How long do you think it'll take you guys to get it there? Because I was talking with Sam and Kenny about it, and Sam has plans, but to get everything. But like you said, there's still a lot of stuff in here that doesn't necessarily belong to anyone but your dad.
Yeah, which he plans on having out before we move in, before they move in.
Which is
January 15th is when they should be in by.
Shit, it's 3 weeks.
Yeah. So
it's
hopefully we can.
Which, by the way, I can use my truck to help you guys move everything
over. I also
over.
have a Ford truck. I don't have too many things. The biggest thing is my bed.
Yeah, you live pretty close by too, so.
Yeah, so it's not. Mine isn't too big of an issue, dude. I don't want to move. Not like I do want to move in right, and do all this stuff. But the thing is that I've already helped 2 people move their stuff because they're rooming together in an apartment, and we actually met. What is it like? Just one of these super entitled person, right? But anyways, I'll get into that story in a second. One of my friends has this. You know those beds that have the drawers in them?
Yeah.
He has one of those beds. And it is massive and is a pain in the ass to carry.
Because they keep sliding out the drawers?
Not even that.
Take them out.
The pieces are just heavy. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. I'm sitting there I'm going to die. And then, so we moved stuff into the truck. We started at 10 at night. And in hindsight, I guess we should have started with the apartment first. But whatever. We were, so we moved his stuff in. We're tired at this point, so we just chill in the apartment for maybe a few hours. Not a few hours, 30 minutes. We go get food. And we chill there for a little bit. And then we're like, all right, let's just get this over with. So we go back to other friend B's house. And, dude, this lady, I've never wanted to hit someone so badly in my life. I'm usually pretty patient. But when you start hurling insults like that, it's who do you think you are?
Yeah.
But so we're making very minimal noise. We're aware how late it is, right? So we come upstairs, and I think maybe the most noise we make is setting the mattress on the floor because it hit something on the wall and the thing came off, and we're like, oh, what was that? And we're like, yeah, whatever. So we start, and his is one of those foldable beds that is super compact when you're packing it up, so it's pretty easy to do. We hear a knock on the door. Lady comes up and she goes, "What do you think you're doing?" And we're like,
"Moving?"
Yeah, and we're like, we're moving his stuff out, right? And I'm not at the door. I'm sitting by. I'm just chilling. And I'm like, I'm not getting involved with that. Because it's late. I'm tired and cranky. Yeah. If I start talking, I'm going to start yelling. So I sit back and let one of my other friends do the talking, friend A. And it's basically just this lady going, "You're not doing this. Put all the stuff back and leave.
What?
Like, leave the apartment. And you're not welcome here. I'm like, what are you talking about? And my friend's like, what are you talking about? This literally is not your apartment. She goes, I live here. And he goes, yes, and we're trying to not live here. Let us leave. All right, so she goes, I'm calling the police. And we're like, okay. So, of course, friend B, he's a really nice kid. He's not someone who's ever really had to deal with the police before. So he's super nervous. And I'm like, dude, that officer's going to come up here. We'll just tell him what's up. And honestly, the officers that work at night are super nice.
Yeah.
So he's not going to do anything, right?
He'll literally be like, why did you call me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a while, but eventually the officer comes. And he's like, hey guys, got a noise complaint or whatever. And friend B starts explaining in this. The best way I can describe it is he's trying to keep his panic under control because he doesn't want to get in trouble. So, but he starts explaining, and the officer's like, yeah, no, I figured this was the case because I told the lady, like, people keep irregular hours, such as myself, and, sometimes just needs to happen. Just keep it quiet, guys, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And he leaves, and that's the end of it. And I'm sitting there like, what did I say? Right? Like, I literally, what I said was going to happen is what happened. So, but, dude, I was just so angry at that lady, because for the while, we didn't do anything, right? We just sat there wasting time, because she was literally blocking the doorway.
Yeah.
And we couldn't, like, forcibly move her, otherwise, then she'd have a reason to actually get us in trouble.
Yeah.
So we're just sitting there like, God damn it. But... yeah, that was a epic moving story.
I don't get why people are just unnecessarily rude for no reason.
Because they're bored. I think it's mostly what it is.
The other day, I was driving home from work, and so I was behind this one car, and then I was in the middle lane, and then the car in the left lane sped up, and so the car in front of me went into the left lane, and so then I sped up, and so then the car in front of her that was in the left lane started to slow down. So now there's a car like right here, and then I'm like diagonal to that car, and she's trapped in the left lane.
Yeah.
And so then she tries to slow down, and then I looked over to my right, because I needed to go to the right lane. So then I start to slow down. So then she thinks that I'm like trying to keep her in the left lane.
Yeah.
And so then she honked and she flipped me off. And so now it was my priority to keep her in that lane. And so I did not get in the right lane. I missed my turn entirely. And so then the car in the front, like, he had gotten cut off by this car beforehand. And so he was already upset with this car. And so I guess we just kind of like automatically were like, we're keeping this car in the left lane. And so anytime
epic.
so then I would try to like slow down, and then she would speed up, and then I would speed up just to like match so she couldn't get in the middle lane, and then she'd slow down and I'd slow down. That way like just like keeping up with her, she could not move. And then she like slammed on her brakes and fucking whipped it all the way to the right side, and then she went into the right lane, sped past me, and flipped me off through the mirror. And I was like, yeah, it's whatever.
The other guy, you're like,
yeah, but like if she didn't, all she had to do was just not honk at me, and then I wouldn't have kept her in the lane. That's all it is.
Dude, driving fucking sucks. I can tell you that. I've driven so much over the past 2 weeks, and my temper has gone so short now.
Like, there's a rock in the road, and you go, fuck you, what the fuck?
Oh, man. I used to, when I first started driving, like before I had my license, I did not want to drive.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. I was so against it for some reason. I just hated driving.
It's that like panic that you feel, because it's one of those things where it's not just learning a new experience, because people vary reaction to that, but driving on the road, you hear so many horror stories, and you're like, oh my gosh, what if someone comes barreling down the lane 200 miles per hour and takes me out?
Yeah. Or like there's a truck in front of you with all these wood stuff, like Final Destination.
Yeah.
And it just like comes out and like
wow.
plows through my windshield.
That's the second movie. Holy shit. I haven't thought about that movie in ages.
Dude, I recently rewatched all the Final Destinations.
If you ever want to be unnecessarily scared for your life, watch those movies.
You're like,
oh, I can't go in a car wash.
What if it like floods my car or something? I can't do it.
All right.
Are like fucked for anyways, yeah.
Yeah, we are running out of time. It is an hour and 5 minutes in, so we're gonna end it here. Thank you guys for joining. Anything you guys want to say is your final?
Stay in school? Question mark.
Have a safe and wonderful holidays to those who
Yes.
choose to celebrate it.
Yeah,
Indeed.
that too.
Hope you guys
Also, school's out, so I don't know why. It's
Yeah,
stay school.
that's
School's out, nerd.
go back to school.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys get all the Christmas gifts that you want. Hope your Christmas is nice. Nice and dandy.
Happy
Yes.
Christmas.
Yeah. And I'll see you guys next episode.
Peace
Bye.
Bye.